Thank you to AppSumo for sponsoring this video. Today I'm sharing with you 5 digital products that you can use to sell online. Some of these can make as much as $3,954 per week or more. And the best part is that since they're digital, most of the revenue is profit. These are also almost completely passive because once you create them, you can sell them over and over again. So let's dive in. If you're new here, hi, I'm Molly. I started as a broke college dropout with just 81 cents to my name. This was my POS car, and I was able to leverage that 81 cents into a multiple 6-figure per year photography studio. Soon, other photographers started asking me how I did it, so I started to create free content online to grow my own following, and I also started to sell paid digital info products, and I was able to grow that into a $2 million per year digital info products business. And now I help content creators and aspiring content creators to grow and monetize their followings with digital info products so they can help their followers on a deeper level and make a full-time living doing what they love. Okay, so the first digital product that you can use to sell online is journals. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see people making when trying to sell a digital journal online is they're just trying to make the journal pretty. And that puts you up against a load of competitors, tons and tons of competitors on places like Etsy and Amazon, where you're going to want to sell your journal to your own following. So that alone is going to set yourself apart. But what else is going to set yourself apart to actually selling this journal is to create a journal that actually solves a painful problem, not just a journal that looks pretty. So what you want to do is actually ask your audience what problems they're having, what problems they're facing, so that you can create a journal to actually help them overcome those problems. So for example, one of the pain points for my following is growing their own following. So I could essentially create a journal that helps you to journal on what content to make or helps you to track to make sure that you're actually creating consistent content. There's a lot of different things I could create with a journal that not only just create a journal that I can sell digitally, but actually solve a painful problem so that I can have my journal stand out in a sea of online digital journals that are for sale. Okay, the second digital product that you can sell online is a printable. Now, a printable is essentially just a digital product that somebody can buy online digitally, just like any other digital product, except for once they get this file, they're actually going to want to print it out. So they can print it out on their home printer, or they can print it out at like FedEx or something like that. So for example, when I had my photo education business, a lot of photographers struggled with pricing. So I actually had my pricing guide turned into a digital template that I could sell online. So that way other photographers could take this digital template, they could tweak the text, they could tweak the colors, and then they could actually print it out and put it in their studio. And since this digital file is being printed, this now becomes a printable. So you just really have to figure out what are your followers' pain points and what type of digital product should you create to help them overcome that struggle. So again, I didn't just create a printable because it sounded fun. I actually saw that there was a need in the market, that people were struggling. They didn't have their own physical pricing menu. So I knew that if I could sell it as a digital file that they could print out, that would solve that problem. And so far, I've shared 2 of the 5 digital products that I'm going to share with you today. And maybe you're hearing these and you're thinking this is cool, but you're still not 100% sure which digital product you should sell. And there are actually 2 ways that I love to do research to find out what digital product you should sell. Number 1 is to actually use something like a Google form to do research, to have a survey to ask your followers what they're struggling with. But something that's going to help you even further is to start out with something like coaching. Now, I know hearing coaching, you're like, hey, that's not passive, and I get it. But here's the thing. I actually started out with some coaching sessions, and it was extremely helpful because I was able to hear firsthand what those people were struggling with. I was able to help them on the calls, which then in turn made deciding on what digital products to sell, what information should be in them, and how to create them way easier. Now, for booking and getting paid for these coaching sessions, I like to use an app from AppSumo called TidyCal. It's a calendar scheduling software so that you can use it to book your one-on-one coaching sessions and actually get paid up front through the app. You can even sync it with your existing calendar. For me, I use Google Cal, and so I like to sync it. And so that way TidyCal can actually see what availability I have open. So they don't need to email me about my availability. They could just go in, pick the date and time that works for them. I know it'll work for me, and then they can pay me up front too. And then it just appears on my calendar. It's amazing. But the actual best part of TidyCal, and the reason I switched to it recently, is because it's just a one-time fee of $29. So you don't need to pay a monthly recurring payment or a yearly recurring payment. You just pay $29 one time and you can use this app for life. I actually found out about TidyCal through my students. They actually saw the software that I was using and they were like, why are you paying this much money for that? You could just use TidyCal. It's just $29. So I felt really stupid. I'm like, how do I not know about this? But shout out to my students for introducing me because I will never go back. I was also really surprised I hadn't heard of it before because I am a huge fan of AppSumo. So if you haven't checked out their website, you absolutely should. Anytime I need some kind of software in my business to automate something or to speed up a process, or I know I need to buy a certain software, but I like to search on their site first because they have a lot of lifetime deals. So you just pay one time for that software and you can use it for life. So definitely check out their website to see all their software deals. And I do have a link to their website in the description below this video as well. The third digital product that you can sell online is an ebook. So what is an ebook? This is like one of the most popular questions I get asked online. An ebook is not a novel. It's not a full-on book. It's an information booklet in like PDF format. We're talking like 10 pages, 20 pages, maybe 50 pages max, not a whole book. What it is it's a digital PDF where you're actually helping someone overcome a problem. You're taking them from where they are now to where they want to be. Think of it more as a short information book. People buy them to get help with the problem they have, not necessarily to like read a whole Kindle book. So why sell an ebook? Well, it's been extremely profitable for me and people want to be able to learn things quickly and easily. And an ebook is typically a lot shorter than say something like an online course. So it does appeal to a lot of people and it also typically sells for a lower price, which does make it easier to sell as well. And it helps you reach a wide amount of people and actually helps you grow your following as well. So how do you sell an ebook? Well, you sell it the same way you would sell any low ticket digital product, and that is to grow your own following and grow your own email list at the same time. And then you can use your email list to market your digital product or ebook. And if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't even know what are all the different types of digital products out there, because in this video, I'm sharing with you 5 digital products, but there's actually 54 different types of digital products. So if you want that full list so that you can know what all the different digital products are and choose the one that's going to be right for you, then go in the link in the description below this video to download my 54 different digital product ideas PDF completely for free. Okay, the fourth digital product that you can sell online is an online course. Now, personally, I like to start out with something like a workshop or an ebook and get that selling first because it's easier to sell, it's faster to make, it could reach more people. But I love online courses as far as scaling. You can charge a lot more money for them. You can really help people on a much deeper level, but it does take more time to actually create the course. And I would have to say it's a little bit harder to sell because it costs more money. So that's why I like to start with an ebook or workshop first and then go with a course. And that's exactly what I have. I have a low ticket ebook, a mid ticket membership, and high ticket course. So what is an online course? Think of it just like any, college online course, except for you're selling it yourself. You're not screwing people over with college debt. But what you're doing is you're able to sell this directly to somebody when they buy it. They get their own login. They can put in their email and their password. They can log in. There's different modules and lessons. And the way I like to think of a course versus a membership is a course should have an end goal, one end goal. They should be able to buy the course to overcome their problem, and the course should help them solve that problem. Whereas a membership, I like to think of solving a problem that never has an end, like growing a following on YouTube or creating and selling digital products. There's always going to be ways that you can learn to grow your following more, and there's always going to be ways to learn how to sell more digital products. So I like to think of that more as a membership, whereas my course teaches people to monetize their following with a course. And so basically you learn it, you do it, you're done. So with that said, you can probably guess what the 5th digital product that you can use to sell online is, and that is a membership. This is quickly becoming my favorite digital product simply because of MRR, monthly recurring revenue, my friends. So I would, again, really recommend that you start with something like an ebook or a workshop so you can get those skills, you can get those sales, you can more easily dip your toes into the digital product world. But once you're ready, I really recommend that you do a membership or a course. The thing with courses and memberships that I found is with a course, when you do something like a launch, you're going to make way more money up front because the actual course costs more than, say, a membership or an ebook. However, when you launch a membership, you're probably going to make less money up front, but now you have monthly recurring revenue. So it just depends what you want, what's going to work best for the topic you're talking about. And remember, you can always create all these things, just don't do it all at the same time. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but really you should start out with creating an ebook or a workshop, get that under your belt, start growing your following, start making sales, and then you can add on something like a membership or a course after that. And you might be wondering, what is the difference between a course or a membership? And honestly, the biggest thing is what I talked about, where with a course, you're solving a problem that has an end. With a membership, not so much. much. The other difference is the pricing. With a course, it's typically a one-time fee or a payment plan. With a membership, it's typically you pay yearly or monthly recurring until you decide to cancel. There are definitely pros and cons to both. I love having both. And like I said, memberships are quickly becoming one of my favorite things because of the monthly recurring revenue. It makes your business a lot more stable. But I love, love, love courses. I've made so much money with courses because you're able to charge a premium price. So I would really recommend those as well. And another thing I did recently that I talked about in another video is actually selling a course with a membership on the back end. That way you get the upfront more sales from the premium price and you get the monthly recurring revenue of a back end membership. So keep that one in your back pocket. Now that you know 5 digital products that you can sell online, you might be wondering how to actually create and sell those digital products online step by step. But how do you do that? Well, it all starts with watching this video next here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, it's going to be way more powerful. See you in the next video.